Okay, third position. Like I said, it's only third and second position from here on out. This guy got to put anal in his username, and the game didn't censor it, so that's kind of interesting. Holo Projectors Invasion Ship's flagship. Firm Grip Opulence. Wow. Well, I think this is an Ilbon game, but so did Mr. Lisan Al Bundy or whatever. So, okay. So given that Ilbon is taken, we can go Leto and give him a hard time. Or we could go Baron, just because Baron's good. Or we could go Ariana. I don't think the cards are quite strong enough for Ariana. At least these cards, I mean. These cards are good, but I mean these cards. Although it could be a fun, like, round 1 research station into opulence thing if we can get that to go off. But I think Leto is the better pick here overall. Let's block Ilbon. And we also have the ability to pursue alliances, so we can kind of hang with Baron as well. Okay, we get Baron in second. That's scary. I would like to play a game without Baron in it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So we just got to hope for a better leader pool in the next game, I guess. And then Yuna goes to first. Okay, so we like the high priority travel on this leader. We like the firm grip. We like the opulence. We have a couple of good things going. If Yuna blocks smuggling, which she will, then we could just get to wealth before Ilbon does. We have double faction, so wealth mentat seems pretty decent. The problem is, if we do that, we're not using our ring. This is the good combat. Oh man, she can't block Hardy because she doesn't have any water. Well, that's a disaster. Baron getting this combat on Hardy is going to be just brutal. But there's nothing I can do about it. He goes tech negotiation. Okay, I'm not going to question it. You want to go tech negotiation. I guess he's trying to get the opulence with the firm grip or something. You want to go tech negotiation, then be my guest, friend. Next hand is looking pretty rough, by the way. So, we can get smuggling next round. But yeah, we definitely want to open like this. And we're going to try to use our ring, assuming that somebody goes to fold space. And if they don't go to fold space, which seems unlikely, then we go to fold space, and we're fine. We can afford the high priority travel. Yeah, fold space, cool. Okay. So Signet Ring to Imperial Basin if it's available. If it's not, still just perfectly acceptable as is. Don't like that. The 3 troops implies that she's got something up her sleeve. We have 2 daggers, though, so I feel somewhat comfortable. Okay, so he's just going all in on that firm grip. Firm grip is a good card, but I don't think it's that good. Times. Yuck. Okay, so we do this. We can ensure that we win the combat by... I guess it's kind of a question of, like, did she draw a combat card? Because she put 3 troops in. Which, she can't win the combat on 2 daggers alone, right? So she probably did draw a combat card, or else she wouldn't have deployed 3. So I'm going to put a troop in here. And it's kind of overkill, but she has to basically have 2 daggers and a combat card to beat me. which maybe she has that, but if it like ties her, she's not going to want to do it. So we at least try to force her into a certain equilibrium here, and by doing this, we can open up Interstellar for our experimentation for next round. We could do something like smuggling first action, Interstellar second action, which would be ideal. We have no green, so there's no point in going Interstellar up-down, unfortunately. One dagger. So then what's she doing putting 3 troops in? I guess she just wants the 3 Solari? Or maybe she drew like a tactician or something and thought that that would be enough to get her over the edge. In which case we didn't need to smoke the troop. Detonation here seems wise. Unfortunately, I only have 1 persuasion, so I can't take advantage of the really awesome cards that just showed up. Really awesome and low cost. Okay, well... She can't beat us in the combat now, that's for sure. Maybe an overcommitment, hard to say. Her behavior suggested that she had some kind of combat card that she was trying to go win the combat with. The problem is we're sitting behind Baron, so you know we are not going to be able to get Interstellar most rounds, I would say. But currently Baron's at 0 on guild, so it's going to take him a while to get there. Did he draw any faction this round? No, he didn't. So that explains the tech negotiation today. We go first next round, so as long as we get to where we want to go, we should be okay. So I think the play this round is smuggling first, Interstellar second. Did anyone pick up a voice? Yes. Ilbun did. But it's in his discard pile, so, like, we're fine. Can he go Conspire this round? No. So, let's just double experiment. Now, Yuna can get her Swordmaster this round by hitting Wealth, which is fine. That's kind of what Yuna does. I'm not too concerned about that. Well, long time no see, high priority travel. You're back. Still pick it up. I think Saidina and Detecting Kit are better. We'll have 5 Persuasion here, so... Yeah, I mean, these two seem like the best use of 5 Persuasion. There's an argument for, like, if we had more Persuasion, Duncan, Sayadina, but we don't have that, so... Okay, so Ilbon can't Conspire because he didn't go to Great Flat, so that's good. Now, it's looking like maybe Baron's going to hit Fold Space here, but again, we kind of outrank him next round on turn order, so we can still kind of get what we need there. Baron does get to 2 on guild. A bit surprising, but it makes sense that Yuna would go to Wealth instead, and Ilbon didn't have faction and I didn't have faction. So that's just how it shook out. So we're gonna Research again. These are good cards, but I think Scarabs are still the correct path here. Like, if I could get the cards this round, that would change my priority, but I can't, so it doesn't. Excuse me, my voice kind of cracked there. Unit has a dagger, so she is getting Swordmaster this round. Do we want to go up and just, like, max out and get attacked? Well, I don't think so, because we need to get Solari, so I think at this point, recalling is the right thing to do. Take the money, take the guild bump, take the loot bumps. Now we have enough to where we can Swordmaster plus Mentat next round if we'd like to. Depending on what Baron buys, we could detonate into, like, you know, a TM or some other 5-coster or something. That's potentially on the table. We do need to be careful, though. We didn't pick up any green last round, and if we don't draw green next round, it's not great. So we want to pick up some combination of green and yellow, just in case. A hand like this one, with no green, would really screw us. So Baron reveals with the same amount of persuasion that we have, just a little bit earlier than us. But Benetell's Researcher is, like, perfectly good. High priority travel is exactly the colors that we want, so I'm pretty happy with that selection. We do need to be aware that Baron has Sayadina. The good news is he doesn't have any water. And currently he doesn't have access to Siege Tabor. So picking up those two cards basically made it nearly impossible that we don't hit our Swordmaster next round. The challenge is that we don't have any faction. So we're going to need to find a way to fix that. Yeah, our Signet Ring can make up for it. But we'd really like to pick up some more faction cards. Because having Swordmaster and not having faction is usually not a great... It's usually not that great. Keeps deploying all. I wonder if she's got combat cards. Because, like, if she doesn't have, like, at least 4 daggers here, it's kind of a weird play, right? Like, I don't think that's worth her troops. I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe that third entry card is just amazing, but I don't think so. So, okay. No one has any shot at getting to Swordmaster before us. The concern is what if Ilbon voices it, right? Ilbon, I think, guaranteed has voice in hand. He does. So he could, if he felt mean, he could just voice Swordmaster. Now, I could react to that by Mentat, so I would probably be okay. He can't voice at Mentat, and the other players can't afford it. So I think we're actually safe to go to Interstellar here. And we take the Scarab, because even though I like trashing cards, I don't want to trash from my hand right now. So let's take our Intrigue. Breakthrough is pretty good. Does it benefit us to play it immediately? Not really. So yeah, he can voice me. I just go to Mentat, though. It's not like, yeah, doesn't really... Like, he's much better off just going to Conspire himself. That's the better play. So he's going to do it. He blocks Fold Space. Interesting. Okay. Maybe he knows that I can just delay at Mentat. Maybe he's just trying to block me from going... Well, I'm not going to go to full space. Maybe he's blocking Baron. I don't know. But basically, he's setting up his next play, I think. So So the question becomes, do we Mentat here, or do we Swordmaster? Again, nobody can actually beat us with Swordmaster, so Mentat seems pretty safe. Do the draw two. Okay. We can play the Researcher here, which is nice. Although if we reveal the Researcher, it's 2 Persuasion card. But I think the Research Progress is still better. If we can hit Carthag after that, I'll be happy. But realistically, if we can't afford power play, then there's not a whole lot of point in revealing this. Okay. I'm fine with that. I'm surprised he didn't go to full space, given that that's what he was blocking, but no skin off of my back. Should we keep the daggers to try to play him in the combat? I just don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe. We could do, like, convincing Researcher and then reconnaissance to Carthag and try to use the daggers. 3 troops, 2 daggers. The problem is we rely on Ilbon not having daggers and us drawing a combat card for that to make any sense. I don't think it makes sense. So let's just do this. I think we do like this. We can trash a dagger that way. And we still get the 3 for natural reflexes or Gola. Wait. No. Why did I think I was getting the trash? Okay, well, whatever. Ooh, there's my card back. So if we break through, take faction, go up Fremen, we can go to Siege Tabor, which is really the only way that we can have a play here. Didn't utilize his dissecting kit. I mean, 2 troops doesn't seem like the best option. I mean, we are kind of taking stuff away from Baron and maybe Yuna. Where's Yuna's dagger situation? Not clear. I think we just hold our powder in reserve. Eight. Oh, okay. That seems like a really bad use of your 8 persuasion, I'm going to be honest with you. We need persuasion. Do we though? Because we have a Researcher. It's not going to take long for that thing to be a free persuasion card. Nobody has 2 water, so Still Suits would give us a pretty good end to this 6 spice basin, or 3 flat rather. Alternatively, Diplomacy fold space, besides giving us faction that we need, also gives us access to High Council. Which is pretty good. Given that we need spice to use our ring, I think I prefer the Great Flat situation here. If we could find a way to get to Gurney, that would be ideal. Okay, well, one problem with taking progress on Fremen is that we end up in a competition with Ilbon that I don't really want to be in. Desert Power is a good combat. Could also just go smuggling. But I don't really have a use for the trash, so... So if Baron pumps Guild, then we go to Fold Space. But he doesn't, so we go to Still Suits, I think. I guess if we go to Fold Space, like, Fold Space High Council, we go down to 6 at that point. Get the water. Are we better off just going to Siege Tabor? I don't think so. The other benefit of this is it's combat space, and we have the most troops. Baron's at 5 points with no alliances. Why is that? Oh, because he used his firm grip, and he had a combat. So it's not that concerning. Still nobody has 2 water, so it's fairly safe to liaison to Mentat. It looks like we're not going to be able to afford Gurney anyway, unless we're going to like a research station, which I'm not doing. So I think it's relatively safe to liaison Mentat here. Blocks Ilbon, which is definitely worth something. The dagger might be a benefit. Definitely not one of our better cards. But it lets us go to tech negotiation. Could pick up an invasion ships with it, and then we can go to Interstellar every round. And the dagger might help us with the combat, potentially. Okay. That's fine. I'm good to just let you have it if that's what you want to spend 2 persuasion, a dagger, and 2 spice on, plus your garrison. He does have a power play, though, so he's got some potential. Like, he could go power play fold space and kind of take the rug out from under us. We have to be very careful about competing with him, unfortunately. If we wanted to, we could hostage Great Flat. Okay, so tech negotiation's off the menu now. So I guess it's like experimentation to Great Flat, and we just play our Signet Ring at a different time. We could go research station. If we draw into the BT researcher, there's a chance that we could get to Gurney. I do hate him getting Surgeon, though. That freaking sucks. I still think the spice is better. Don't actually do it this way. Do it this way. Would have liked that dissecting kit, but there's no way it gets back around to me. I think we're picking up... Oh, he took the reflexes. Okay, I guess we're picking up Stitch Horror then. Putting it on top. Okay, just kidding. Scientific breakthrough then. Whatever. Yeah, it's fine. So we have to go to a city. Carthag, we have to give Baron money, which I'm not willing to do. Siege Tabor is good. Arakeen. Next hand kind of sucks, so I would say we go Arakeen for the card draw. If we pick up, but really, like, there's not a card that we could draw into that's really going to work for us here. So I think we just take the water, because like if we get to 4 persuasion, like 3 persuasion, 4 persuasion, none of it's really all that impressive. Are we picking up a guild administrator? Honestly, I think we are. We have 6 spice. We don't have much faction in our deck. We should go up with Emperor, because it is a bad faction that we don't want to visit. Hello. Top of the deck. And now we're back at 1 water, so when this goes to 4 spice, then we're going to have an advantage in getting to there. Certainly, actually we're back to 2 water. And we get the spice back from Desert Power, so now we're back on Highliner threat. We don't have access to Highliner, but that's what this guy is for, I guess. Okay, we didn't draw the Researcher or the High Priority Travel, which honestly are kind of the best cards that we've got, unfortunately. But you know, we could go grab a Tat. I assume Baron will take Interstellar before we do. But we also have the option of teching from Interstellar as well. With Jessica and Gurney in the row, I think a High Council seat kind of needs to be considered. We could like smuggle, go down on taking spice, grab. Okay, we can't smuggle. Very popular space. We could do like Breakthrough Research Station. That's gonna draw us 3 cards. Give us a point. Give us a Scarab. Give us the persuasion that we need. This is a 3 persuasion card. I think I like that. We're also kind of tightly, again, we're still pretty tightly compressed on these alliances. The problem is I just really don't have much faction and can't really compete for it. So, yeah, that's just, it is what it is. You know, I really don't think Yuna's going to take Research Station, so maybe we should just hit Mentat first. If we could find one more Solari somewhere, we could go High Council. I don't think that we can do that, though. So I think this makes more sense. Okay. Picked up 3 persuasion out of that. It's pretty good. And then we're going to shuffle with the Research Station here, so we might draw into faction. Or our ring. And we block Ilbon. The only problem is we're now revealing later in the round. So somebody could steal one of those cards out from under us. Nobody's bought a tech yet this game. Baron's at 3 specimens. So he may end up getting like a Gola or even like Subject X. He doesn't have much research, so I don't think Subject X makes a ton of sense for him. Hago base. Okay. So Baron gets his Swordmaster in round 5. Not in love with that, but sometimes that's just how things go. Let's go ahead and do our research station here. So research number 1 is going to be a Scarab. And then research number 2 is going to be a card draw. 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 Point. I don't really want to deploy. Well, I mean, these two only have 1 agent, so maybe. I guess I can use the money for a High Council seat if I don't get. I don't know. I just feel like I always get burned when I do this. I have 2 agents left though, so like if she does do something, I guess I can go to a city. Signet ring and diplomacy. So we're way ahead of everybody else on research. Way ahead. Okay, so it looks like invasion ships is off the menu. Actually, we could do it at Dreadnought. We're Ilbon, or we're Leto. We can afford that. Buy some pledge. Okay, new tech. Training drones. I think invasion ships is way better at this point in the game. Kind of what I was worried about her doing. But if she doesn't spin one of her cards, I'll happily go to secrets. We'll see. Nope, she machine cultures for the invasion ships. Okay, well, this is why I shouldn't ever deploy to I just can't. I can't win mid-game combats, man. I mean, I guess I could go Highliner here. It seems like overkill, but honestly, you get 2 water back. It's not that bad. Ordnance. Well, that would be nice if I had a High Council seat. I think it's too late in the game for Ordnance. Problem is she's got all these intrigue cards, but whatever. We gotta go for the points. Where's his power play? I feel like he's had that forever and hasn't used it. Is he gonna use it at still suits here? Oh man, that sucks. I really wanted that actually. What? What are you doing, bro? Are you crazy? Why would you do that? That's an insane play. I can't fathom why he would do that. Like, why not just put one troop in? Okay, so we can't... We can. We're not playing Signet Ring. So, what are we doing instead? Is he going to detonate on me here? He is. Guy's a bastard. Well, we can buy a Spice Must Flow. Either at Arakeen or at Dreadnought, we can do that. So I think drawing here is better than deploying the Dread. Next hand kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we could detonate ourselves. If there's like a Kwisatz or something, then, you know. Or like a Directorship. I would take both of those cards over SMF here. Nope. Well, I don't like shuffling the SMF back in my deck. Are you serious? Would you not have another card? Like, you're just gonna tie me? Like, why? Like, that's so dumb. Just use your, like, save your card for, like, round 7 or round 6 even. You're not improving your own outcome and you're just hurting me. Unless she's got a second card and she's just holding on to it. I really genuinely don't understand that. Okay, stage instant. That... Surely you have a second card. You're not just, like... You're just trolling me. What the hell? Are you serious? That's really frustrating. I'm not even gonna lie. That's actually quite frustrating. Like, that card is an asset, and you weren't even at 4 intrigues. Like, at least if you were at 4 intrigues, we could say, like, well, you know, she had to spend one or else she might get stolen from. But that's not what it was either. Okay, whatever. Diplomacy's nice to have. That's a good mentat. Okay, it's only a matter of time. There's a reason why I didn't go to Soul Suits. Yeah. And we can still fight him on it, right? Like, we could use our ring and smuggling and stuff like that. I think, I don't know, Yuna's philosophy of this game has been deploy at the maximum at every combat you possibly can. And she has 3 points, because she's burning all her resources on stuff like that. Whatever, she'll take me down with her, I guess. That's really annoying. Like this is why I can't win mid-game combats, because people do crap like that. I don't know. At least in the late-game combats, it's often for the game, so it makes sense to behave that way. I think we want to smuggle here. It draws us a card. We get our spice. We can pump Emperor for a point. Interesting play. Does he have plans within plans? Because why else would he do that? I mean, if he does, there's like nothing we can do about it, right? So... okay. Well, we can go into more spice must flows, I guess. But I was kind of hoping to draw, like, another experimentation or a signet ring or something there. Yuna hasn't won a single combat. Which is kind of sad, given how hard she's committed to them. Yeah, okay. Well, what do we want to do here? We could research station, draw 3. That'll give us 1 spice bag if we draw an SMF. But I don't really love research station if what we're using to research station is a liaison. We also don't really want to play our experimentations now because, like, we don't really have a good source of scarabs. If we can draw into the other experimentation, we can buy subject X, and then we can get the spice, and we can get the point. But, so maybe there's an argument for it. Gives us 2 spice. We're still short of Highliner. Research station, okay. Not on the menu. I don't know, man. This is kind of tough. We could go, like, Researcher to High Council. We lose a net 1 persuasion, but we draw a card, and that might open up more options. Although I guess we can't just send... And I wish you would stop feeding Baron Solari. This is like the 3rd time you've gone to Carthag. It's kind of frustrating. Yeah, we'd have to actually graft the Researcher to something, and then at that point we're definitely costing ourselves a spice most flow. I guess it's selective. That pretty much guarantees that we keep our SMF. Guild admin. Okay, I mean... It is yellow. We didn't draw the experimentation that we wanted, but it is yellow. Doesn't get us to 6, but it gets us to 4. We could go Reconnaissance to Erkine for the Dread deployment, plus, you know, the 1 in 4 chance to draw the experimentation. Our next hand is going to be a bit fraught. We'll have the high priority travel, so we'll probably be fine. But the spice must flow is going to screw it up. And because we're buying another one this round, we have a chance to draw into 2 spice must flows. Given that we don't have the intrigues to actually beat Yuna here, I don't think we actually want to go Erkine. It's true that it does improve the next hand, but like we don't want to draw our signet really, or the high priority travel. Yeah, we would like to draw the spice must flow, so it's like a 50-50 on cards we want to draw versus cards that we don't. Well, Ilbon already went to secret, so I can't take advantage of him here. he's already ahead of me on that. So yeah, let's Guild Administrator. We can trash the reconnaissance from hand. If Baron wants to spend an intrigue card here, he's welcome to. The Solari does not matter to me anymore. Full-scale assault. Well, we already have a Dreadnought, so that might actually be good. That might actually be good here. Because a Dreadnought that we can use in the next combat, it screws up our deck significantly less. And if we reveal it with 2 Dreadnoughts, it's a 2 Persuasion, 6 Dagger card. But we're talking about, like, being very... Spice to that. We're talking about being very late in the game to be passing up Spiceless flow points. But nobody has Highliner Spice, so it seems plausible to me that I could just win by brute forcing with the full scale. I guess if I go to 8 points from the Spice Must Flow instead, I can go to 9 off of BG. I would still need 2 more points, aka the combat. And I probably won't end up drawing Guild. So I'm gonna go with full scale. Because if it gets me a 2-point combat next round, it's actually worth. Contaminator is interesting. You know, there's certain logic to it, right? Like, it is a Scarab, which for one specimen is a good trade. It's Fremen access that we don't really want, but like, whatever. We're probably not getting that Scarab otherwise, right? So I'll do it. We also get a water from the combat, so we can take it to Hardy Warriors. So there's an application there. And it's not impossible that we could steal Fremen from Ilbon. It's not what I'm planning. I'm not buying it with the expectation that that will happen. But it is something that is potentially in the cards. So I think we play high... Oh, we don't... Oh, Interstellar, I guess we cashed out. I forgot about that. So... Okay. Ilbon doesn't have money, so we don't have to worry about Mentat. Although we draw 2 if we do. It's pretty good. Let's not overthink it. We need the Scarab. And this is the highest profile way of us winning the combat, since we don't have Highliner access. It also has the benefit of freaking Ilbon out. And now we can just play our experimentations for draws and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Question is, like, do Yuna or Baron Mentat? I think they do, but later in the round, getting that Mentat is not necessarily a good thing. Infiltrate. Okay. Well, Yuna is pretty much a non-factor in this game as far as I can tell. But we do have to consider that she's going to do everything she possibly can to stop me from winning this combat. And Ordnance would do that. New tech is Holtzman engine. Well, if we had bought a Spice Must Flow last round, that could be promising. Signet Ring gets us the point on BG. So, as long as we play our Signet Ring and win the combat, we will win this round. So I think that means we, like, take Signet Ring to Carthag. Because it blocks other players from going to Carthag. It gives us a deployment opportunity. Seems like the overall best thing we can do. I mean, the best thing we can do is draw into the full scale. But I don't have a way to engineer that. Okay, Baron buys my point. Concerning, to be sure, but let's do this. Diplomacy is great. Didn't get to the full scale, but we know it's in that deck. So we could go selectively breeding for it. Which would also give us our point. It would displace the Signet Ring, which would be fine with me. It's not looking like we're getting a Spice Must Flow this round. Presumably he's going to just shore up Fremen here. Maybe he goes aggressive and takes the BG friendship. He does, okay. So that leaves him vulnerable on Fremen. So, selective's off the table. The good news is, like, Yuna's doing that instead of going to a combat space. That's good in my book, you know? So, let's do this. Well, actually, you know what we could do? Nobody can go Highliner unless Ilbon voices it. So why not just go Signet Ring here, and then Diplomacy Highliner? That seems like the most surefire way of doing things. 67s, all we have to do is just bump BG. And we've already got the faction. Now, Ilbon could voice Highliner. We don't know, like, he probably has voice in hand. So, that would be one problem. But if he does that, then, well, we still have other options. Like, we're still fundamentally very far ahead. Yuna would have to find a way to get to 14. Even with her ordnance, I mean, she's been spending all her resources every combat. She doesn't have, like, she could have saved that ambush for this round, and she didn't. So I think, unless she just keeps drawing combat cards just out of the blue, we'll be okay here. And if Highliner gets voiced, then we'll have 6 spice, which is pretty good for the tiebreaker. Seven spice, really, because of the SMF. Carthag was the place I would want to go if I didn't get voiced. I didn't get voiced, though, so it's fine. Trashes his diplomacy. Well, if the game keeps going, that's very interesting. He's really taken... He's tied his hands behind his back on Fremen. If the game also doesn't end this round, which I don't see how it could not end this round, but if the game doesn't end this round, then I'll have full-scale assault next round, and I'll be pretty happy. Interesting. So, that gives her an intrigue card. It's not nothing. So, she's sitting at 10 right now. I have no intrigue cards, so if she can make up the 5 sword difference, then more power to her. So I don't see... So Baron gets... So, okay, so does Baron win this game then? Because, like, Baron's at 10, right? He's got Spice Must Flow. Right, because he buys Spice Must Flow. So, I mean, if he's got plans within plans... He doesn't actually have plans within plans, though. So I think we're okay. So... Diplomacy Highliner. Just in case. Turns out the full scale wasn't that necessary. We didn't draw it. If we had drawn it, it would have been better than if we had bought the Spice Must Flow. We didn't draw it, though. But we still benefit from having the Dreadnought, although I don't think the Dreadnought is going to put us over the edge here by any means. But if Baron has, like, a endgame point, then it probably will cost us the game. It's not a guarantee that he has Spice Must Flow either, really. He has 5 cards in hand, but he doesn't have a High Council seat. And he played his Surgeon, and he played his Scythe. What else did he buy? What's he bought this game? Sister, okay, so that's Persuasion. Trusair. The Surgeon again, Liaison. He probably has the Spice Must Flow. Does Dissecting Kit give him a... Does Dissecting Kit give him another point? I don't think so. I don't think it gives him an Intrigue either. He has 2 Dissecting Kits? No, he only has 1. Firm Grip, but he doesn't have Emperor Alliance. So Firm Grip could tank him here. Face Dancer Initiate could tank him here. I don't know. Hard to say. If he doesn't have the Spice Must Flow, I feel pretty confident, but we'll see. Guild Administrator ended up kind of being a dud. We just drew our Diplomacy when we needed it, and so it didn't really come into play. But there's a lot of shuffles where we didn't draw our Diplomacy, right? Like, it's not a foregone conclusion that we draw this specific hand here. Which is also how I defend my decision to buy the full-scale assault. Like, it's not a foregone conclusion that we draw this specific hand. Like, yeah, if we get Highliner, then it's obvious that the full-scale assault isn't needed. But, like, we only get Highliner if we draw the 2 cards that have Guild on them when we went to Mentat. Which, again, wasn't something that we would expect necessarily to happen. Are you really... Did you really rage quit when I hit Highliner? Are you that petty? So I think Baron's got an SMF, but let's see. So I think Baron wins now. No, he doesn't have the SMF. He has the Sleeper Must Awaken. And I tie him on Spice and beat him on Solari now. That Firm Grip actually ended up sabotaging him. Which is interesting because he went out of his way to get it. He could still end up having an endgame point. But he hasn't finished the research track. He doesn't have 10 Solari. He doesn't have 2 Spice Must Flows. He doesn't have plans within plans. He doesn't have 3 technologies. He doesn't have a High Council seat. Like, I don't think he can have an in-game point here. Really, just all around poor behavior from this unit this game. I guess I say poor behavior. She hasn't said anything mean in chat. She hasn't been rude. She hasn't trash-talked anybody. So I can't really say it's poor behavior. I disapprove of her plays to, like, burn her resources on hurting me, and I just approve of her play of rage quitting and not resigning. But there's definitely like worse players out there. Like I've run into people that like drop the N-word over a Dune game. So you know, she's definitely not like on that level or anything, but it is just like, it's always the most annoying thing too, because like you're in the end game, you're trying to figure out like who's won the game, where the final points are going to stack up, and then you've got this grind to a halt because one player, like we have to wait for one player multiple times to use their stuff. Let's talk about Ilbon though. Ilbon's got 4 intrigues, so is there a way that Ilbon can win? He doesn't have any spice must flows, and he doesn't have plans within plans. So I'm gonna say no. He hasn't finished the research track. He doesn't have a high council seat. And machine culture, he doesn't have that either. So, unless I'm forgetting something, he doesn't have the points. Good lord. Just, yeah, this is just quite annoying. And I'll tell you, sometimes I have been, like, okay. So it ended up being close enough margin that if I didn't have eyeliner, which I wanted to combat, tiebreaker on Ilbon's not going to do anything. So yeah, we win. Very nice. I had a very bad game of Dooning yesterday. It was like, just frustrating game over frustrating game over frustrating world circumstances. Normally, I try to upload most of the games that I play. Like I don't try to like only upload like wins or try to keep it at a certain ratio. But I was just grouchy the whole time, and it was unpleasant, and I just didn't want to put those games up. But yeah, okay. So point breakdown here. Starting point 1, Battle for Arcane 2, Guild Alliance 1, Influence Tracks 4, Spice Must Flow 1, Talaxu Track 1, Scientific Breakthrough 1. Okay. So, this is just, you know, Leto being bog standard, like vanilla, good fundamentals Dune Imperium, right? Like, you should probably go to Guild, you should probably go to Highliner, you should probably go to Interstellar Shipping, like, you should go Friendships and get your Swordmaster. Like, it's pretty basic gameplay. But, a couple interesting things here. If we don't buy the Contaminator, which I was very much on the fence about, we do not get this point here. Which means the game goes longer, which we don't like. Likewise, if we don't get a Scientific Breakthrough, we don't get the point. Now, that being said, you could argue Scientific Breakthrough is costing us a Scarab, so this is making up for the point that Scientific Breakthrough cost us. But realize that when you finish the research track already like this, it's just a free card. It's a point, so at worst, it's, you know, the same thing the Scarab would have given you. Or like half of, you know, double what the Scarab would have given you, depending on your margin. And because it researches, it gives you incremental advantage. And if you've already finished the research track, it's just going to draw you a card. So, yeah, just kind of a free card. It's not quite like a free card because you still have to use an agent on it. It's not Kwisatz, but it's just good stuff. So, what do we think here? Do we say Bennett Tylex Researcher is the MVP? It did give us the second Dreadnought, and it did give us the Spice Must Flow, and it did give us some research progress, which we needed to make the Scientific Breakthrough work. And of course, we ended 2 research bumps ahead of the other players here, so we can consider on the margin the card that we trashed in a specimen plus a Scarab to be the fruits of that card that the other players didn't get to actually acquire. So I'm going to say it was the Bennett Tylex Researcher that kind of tilted things in our favor at the end here. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to go ahead and upload the video and see you guys later.